the Great Northern Realm. It had been roughly half a month since a young man named Lindong had arrived here in search of someone, eventually targeting Xun'er, the granddaughter of the Ice Spirit Clan's Grand Elder. During this time, Lindong's endeavors became a widespread joke within the Ice Spirit Clan. This man, hailing from a lower dimension, had the audacity to set his sights on Xun'er, a woman revered above millions due to her lineage. However, his so-called plan was exposed when Xun'er dismissed him with a simple declaration. She didn't even know him. Left humiliated, Lindong was forced to flee in disgrace. Of course, this incident was not of great significance. After half a month, the uproar gradually settled, and the story was relegated to a tired joke that no one cared to retell. Yet, as the laughter faded, another event swept across the Great Northern Realm. This incident was so monumental that it even drew the attention of neighboring realms, including the Wandering Realm. The matter in question was that, for reasons unknown, the Grand Elder of the Ice Spirit Clan convened an extraordinary meeting. The clan chief, all elders, numerous top-tier young elites, and even the clan's elite guards, responsible for its external defenses, were summoned. Such a gathering sparked wild speculation. Was the Ice Spirit Clan preparing for war with the Super Divine Clan? The surrounding realms heightened their defenses and carefully monitored the Ice Spirit Clan's movements. Although the clan no longer possessed the earth-shaking power of ancient times, its 2 Heavenly Supremes and 7 Earth Supremes were still an awe-inspiring force. However, no one could guess what was discussed in the Ice Spirit Clan's stronghold on the central continent, the Ice Spirit Continent. The meeting reportedly lasted half a month, during which all participants deliberated in a sealed space. No information leaked. Only after the meeting concluded did everyone return to their posts, behaving as if everything were normal. It seemed almost as if the entire affair had been a casual gathering. Those who emerged from the meeting bore expressions of joy, as though they had received some kind of reward. Outsiders, baffled, described the situation with one phrase: "It's downright eerie." The Wandering Realm, Western Boundary Region, 9 Thunder Continent. Boom. Countless dark thunderclouds covered the entire 9 Thunder Continent, stretching for millions of miles. The relentless descent of black divine thunder caused even ordinary supreme stage powerhouses to feel a sense of dread. The density of these thunderbolts was truly terrifying. Rumors suggested that due to the extreme density of the black divine thunder, a peculiar life form called a thunder spirit had emerged within the storm. This thunder spirit's power was said to rival that of a 6th grade supreme. Buzz. On a towering mountain peak thousands of feet tall, a massive spatial rift unfolded. 8 figures emerged from the rift, led by none other than Lindong. Behind him were Little Mink, Little Yin, Qingji, Qingtan, the Lord of Life and Death, and the Thunder Lord. Standing at the rear was a tall, elegant woman with a sharp demeanor, Xuanling, the current leader of the Xuanpeng clan. Big brother, bringing us all to the 9 Thunder Continent. What exactly are you planning to do here? Little Yin asked, gazing at the thunder-filled world ahead. It was hard to imagine anything surviving in such a perilous environment, despite their current relocation to the martial realm. Little Mink, Little Yin, Xuanling, your bodies are of beast origin, representing unparalleled physical strength. If I'm not mistaken, these black divine thunderbolts, while fearsome, can temper your bodies and even help you advance toward the supreme stage, Lindong explained. He then turned to Qingji. Senior Qingji, you have already stepped into the supreme stage, transcending the boundaries of a beast and attaining the rank of a divine beast in the Great Thousand Worlds. Ordinary black divine thunder may not significantly enhance your strength. However, I sensed before coming here that a thunder spirit has indeed formed within these thunderclouds. With its help, you might break through to the 3rd grade supreme in less than a decade. Hearing Lindong's explanation, the group finally understood his intentions in bringing them here. Ha, big brother. Hearing Little Yan's words, everyone was reminded of what Lindong had said half a month ago on the icy expanse of the martial realm. He mentioned that Huan's reincarnation fragment was now under the protection of the Ice Spirit Clan, a colossal force within the Great Thousand Worlds. Not even ordinary heavenly supremes could harm her. However, due to the fragment's incompleteness, This incarnation of Xuanling had no memories of her past lives, including Lindong. This was the source of Lindong's despondency. As he had said, without her memories, Xuanling had no connection to him or their shared past. Forget it. Within the Ice Spirit clan, that ice firmament treasures Xun'er like a rare gem. Their protection of her surpasses even my own, Lindong sighed. Then, turning his gaze toward the nearby Lord of Life and Death and the Thunder Lord, he said, Thunder Lord, you've been in harmony with the Thunder Ancestral Talisman for over 1,000 years and are now the embodiment of thunder. The Black Divine Thunder of this 9 Thunder Continent should greatly enhance your strength. The Black Divine Thunder Spirit I am about to summon cannot be dealt with by Qingji alone, so this Thunder Spirit is meant for the two of you. Lord of Life and Death, Lindong continued, you now preside as the Master of the Talisman God Hall. I know many are dissatisfied with your current first grade supreme strength. Therefore, you need to seclude yourself here for several years and raise your strength to the 4th grade supreme. To go from 1st grade supreme to 4th grade supreme in just a few years? The Lord of Life and Death was stunned, and so were the others. Lindong had previously claimed Qingji could reach the 3rd grade supreme in 10 years, but his plan for the Lord of Life and Death seemed even more ambitious. What kind of logic is this? They wondered. The Lord of Life and Death possesses the life and death body granted by the Ancestral Talisman, Lindong explained. Life and death are essentially a cycle of yin and yang. With a sufficiently powerful source of yin-yang energy, it's not impossible to reach the 4th grade supreme in a few years. The Lord of Life and Death nodded. The power of yin and yang was indeed crucial to her cultivation. However, as she scanned the 9 Thunder Continent, she found no signs of such yin-yang energy. The yin-yang energy I speak of isn't what you normally understand as yin and yang, Lindong clarified. During my investigations, I discovered that within the seemingly endless black divine thunder of this 9 Thunder Continent, there exists another type of thunder with properties entirely opposite to it. As he spoke, Lindong fixed his gaze on the rolling, oppressive black thunderclouds in the distance. Suddenly, an overwhelming pressure descended upon the heavens and earth. The turbulent thunderclouds froze, and a colossal rift tens of thousands of feet wide was torn open. Everyone stared in astonishment at what lay within. Boom! Amidst the endless black thunderclouds, streaks of white thunder flashed silently. Though subtle, their power was no less than that of the Black Divine Thunder. It was so well concealed that even powerful individuals had difficulty detecting it. The Black Divine Thunder and this White Thunder are in a yin-yang relationship. Black is yin, white is yang, forming a unique life and death yin-yang thunder, Lindong explained to the Lord of Life and Death. The combined power of these two thunders exceeds what any expert below the 4th grade supreme can withstand. Perhaps, aside from the Black Divine Thunder Spirit, there's also a White Divine Thunder Spirit hidden here. If you can refine both, reaching the 4th grade supreme in a few years won't be impossible. Only then did the crowd understand why Lindong was so confident in his plan for the Lord of Life and Death. Originally, these 2 thunder spirits would have been of greater value to the Thunder Lord, potentially helping him reach the 5th grade supreme. But at this moment, the Lord of Life and Death needs them more, Lindong said. The Talisman God Hall was established for the disciples of the Ancestral Talisman, and while all 6 leaders were important, the Lord of Life and Death, as the senior-most leader, required the greatest power. I don't mind, the Thunder Lord replied. It's said that the Great Thousand Worlds has a Thunder rankings list, and the Black and White Divine Thunder barely make the top 100. In the future, I'll seek out the stronger thunders on that list. Very well, Lindong nodded, turning his gaze to the surrounding heavens and earth. In that case, let's begin. Swish, swish. As Lindong's voice faded, Lindiao and the other 7 exchanged glances before their figures flickered and darted off in 7 different directions. Within mere moments, they each landed atop mountain peaks thousands of miles away, forming a massive circular formation with Lindong at its center. The 7 then sat cross-legged, their positions forming a ring spanning tens of thousands of miles, with Lindong situated in the middle of this immense circle. Boom! As the seven took their positions, an overwhelming and terrifying aura surged from Lindong's body, engulfing the surrounding area for tens of thousands of miles. The closer one got to Lindong, the more distorted the space became, unable to withstand the immense power emanating from him. Under the watchful eyes of Lin Diao and the others, beams of purple-golden light erupted from Lindong's body, transforming into 8 purple-golden dragon patterns. Each dragon pattern radiated a power that could make even a 9th-grade supreme tremble. The 8 dragon patterns roared across the heavens, expanding as they ascended into the sky, transforming into 8 colossal purple-golden dragons, each thousands of feet long. These dragons appeared so vivid and lifelike that they resembled true dragons descending upon the world. Spreading across the 9 Thunder Continent, the 8 dragons coiled around its entirety, enclosing the entire continent in a breathtaking display. The waves of energy emanating from the dragons even reached nearby continents, striking awe into the hearts of powerful cultivators. On one of the mountain peaks, Qingji stared at Lindong with an expression of unprecedented shock. He had not imagined that Lindong could wield the Azure Heaven Dragon transformation art to such a level, turning dragon patterns into what seemed to be actual dragons. Now, a single dragon pattern carried the power equivalent to tens of millions of patterns in the past. The power of an Earth Supreme was indeed far beyond that of ordinary Supremes. As the million purple-golden dragons appeared, they simultaneously roared toward the heavens. The overwhelming dragon might cause the black divine thunder clouds to tremble and erupt in chaos, but before Lindong, such a reaction was utterly insignificant. Countless purple-golden dragons charged into the clouds, wreaking havoc and tearing the boundless thunderclouds into 4 distinct regions. These regions corresponded to Lindiao, Linyin, Xuanling, and Qingtan. In the center of the 4 areas, a sea of lightning composed entirely of black and white divine thunder appeared, creating a terrifying sight. Roar! Suddenly, the lightning sea began to churn violently. Within the sea, 2 massive silhouettes, one black and one white, flashed by, exuding an aura that made even ordinary Supremes feel a deep sense of dread. "Those must be the Thunder Spirits," Lindong murmured as he gazed at the enormous figures in the lightning sea. He then turned his attention to the 4 below. "It begins with you," Lindong said softly. At his command, one of the purple-golden dragons casually grabbed a mass of black divine thunder, hundreds of feet wide, and hurled it toward Lin Diao below. The sheer power of the attack was enough to annihilate a late-stage, heaven-connecting stage cultivator. "Come on, Black Divine Thunder? Your Lord Mink isn't scared of such a thing," Lin Diao bellowed. Boom! Before Lin Diao's words fully landed, the terrifying Black Divine Thunder struck him directly. His body trembled violently, and blood seeped from the corner of his tightly clenched mouth. The power of the Black Divine Thunder had far exceeded his expectations. Rumble. While Lin Diao endured the lightning baptism, the purple-golden dragons in the other 3 areas also selected Black Divine Thunder clouds containing the maximum power the individuals below could withstand and sent them crashing down. As Lin Diao and the others began their training, Lindong fixed his gaze on the black and white lightning sea before him. Slowly raising his hands, he unleashed an overwhelming force that froze the entire sea in place. The 2 colossal figures within the sea also became motionless. Then, with a wave of Lindong's hand, the 2 thunder spirits were forcibly pulled from the lightning sea. They were utterly unable to resist. "Lord of Life and Death, enter the lightning sea," Lindong commanded. Hearing this, the Lord of Life and Death's figure flickered as he dove into the lightning sea, now devoid of the thunder spirits. Waves of divine lightning, each spanning thousands of feet, immediately engulfed him. The Lord of Life and Death swiftly reached the center of the lightning sea, seated himself cross-legged, and began channeling the unique power of life and death within him. The surrounding black and white divine lightning began to slowly integrate into his body. At the same time, a streak of silver light shot out from Lindong's body, forming a massive space prison about 100,000 feet in size in the sky. This silver light was none other than the spatial ancestral talisman. Spatial Great Confinement. Lindong uttered in a deep voice, flicking his fingers to trap the black divine thunder spirit within the immense confinement space. He then shifted his gaze toward Qingji and the Thunder Lord. I've suppressed its power to the level of a second-grade supreme. You two join forces to deal with it. I'll gradually release its power afterward. Hearing this, Qingji and the Thunder Lord exchanged glances, nodded, and shot toward the spatial prison. Upon entering, they were confronted by the Thunder Spirit, a foe whose power rivaled a second-grade supreme. Everyone present, including Little Mink and the others, understood that their trial had officially begun. As one of the three great worlds, the Great Thousand Worlds served as the convergence point for all lower dimensions. Boundless and infinite, the vast expanse of the Great Thousand Worlds housed countless continents, innumerable clans, and an endless number of powerful individuals. The true expanse of the Great Thousand Worlds had long been a topic of debate. Compared to the lower dimensions, it was undeniably millions of times larger. It is said that a strong cultivator at the heavenly supreme level once attempted to measure the diameter of the Great Thousand Worlds. Traveling at a speed of 10,000 miles per breath for a month, he still failed to reach its borders. Within this endless vastness, there existed 10 of the largest and most expansive continents, collectively known as the 10 supercontinents. These included Tianluo Continent, Central Heaven Continent, and others. However, according to legend, the ancient 10 supercontinents were not the same as those today. In the primeval era, some continents even larger than today's supercontinents were shattered into countless smaller ones during the Apocalyptic War. Among the most famous of these was the Relic Continent. Located in the northwest of the Great Thousand Worlds, the Relic Continent was said to have once been the second largest landmass in existence during its complete state. It was home to numerous powerful factions, some of which were presided over by heavenly supreme experts. However, the Relic Continent's lack of unity among its mighty factions ultimately led to its downfall. During the Apocalyptic War, it became one of the primary targets of the extraterritorial Evil Clan. In the end, over 90% of its forces were annihilated. Now, in the southern part of the fragmented Relic Continent, on one of its outer shard continents, the sound of space being torn apart echoed through the air. 6 or 7 figures streaked through the sky with great urgency. Among them were 2 middle-aged men with auras at the 6th grade supreme level, 3 young men at the 2nd to 3rd grade supreme level, a young woman at the 1st grade supreme level, and a girl no older than 16 or 17. They pushed their speed to the limit, their faces filled with anxiety as they flew toward the horizon. Suddenly, a loud, chilling laugh echoed through the skies, sending a shiver down their spines. Haha, did you really think you could escape from under Xuanling Hall's nose? The laughter, tinged with cold malice, prompted the 7 to halt mid-flight, their eyes scanning the surroundings warily. Buzz. Ahead of them, space twisted, and an elderly figure draped in a purple robe emerged. At the same time, a terrifying aura radiated from him, freezing the space within 1,000 miles as if it had solidified. Spatial mastery, an 8th grade supreme. The group's expressions changed dramatically as they saw the old man. The 2 middle-aged men at the forefront exchanged glances, and a stern voice rang out behind them. We'll hold him off. You all escape in different directions. It's best if you split up. Boom. With those words, 2 overwhelming auras erupted from the 2 men, darkening the skies and causing thunder to rumble among the clouds. Humph! 2 mere 6th grade supremes dare challenge me? The purple-robed elder sneered coldly. From beneath his robe, a withered hand reached out, slamming down toward the 2 with immense force. Boom! Terrifying spiritual energy tore through the heavens, forming a massive spiritual energy hand tens of thousands of feet large, which came crashing down with a power that could destroy everything in its path. Facing the terrifying descending giant palm, the 2 6th grade supreme cultivators below dared not hold back in the slightest, unleashing their most formidable attacks. One harnessed the power of the earth to create a beam of light thousands of feet tall, while the other condensed vast spiritual energy into a massive tortoise shell. Behind them, 5 individuals gritted their teeth, turned abruptly, and fled in another direction. The desperate efforts of the two middle-aged men were solely to buy them a slim chance of survival. If they didn't leave now, they would all perish here. As the five retreated, a cataclysmic clash erupted behind them. Boom! The devastating impact sent shockwaves tearing across the land, leaving destruction for thousands of miles. The earth below bore a colossal pit, over 1,000 feet in diameter and so deep that its bottom could not be seen. Splurt! However, the power of the giant palm was far beyond what the two middle-aged men had anticipated. With just one exchange, they were sent flying, spitting blood wildly. Yet, clenching their teeth, they stood their ground. Even if it cost their lives, they were determined to stop the purple-robed elder. The purple-robed elder, however, merely smiled as he observed their defiance. Sensing something ominous, the expressions of the two men abruptly changed. "Heh, did you really think I came alone to pursue you?" The elder's chilling laughter echoed in their hearts. At the same time, 1,000 miles away, the fleeing five suddenly noticed a black speck appearing on the horizon before them. It was a figure speeding toward them with terrifying velocity, a speed far beyond what any ordinary supreme stage cultivator could achieve. "If anything happens, you must take Xun'er and run. Xun'er's divine poison body is a once-in-a-millennium gift. If she falls into their hands, who knows what will become of her?" One of the three young men shouted at the woman behind him, his voice grave. Swish! Before his words had fully landed, the approaching figure had already arrived in front of them. Just as the three young men gathered their full spiritual energy to prepare for a desperate strike, the figure streaked past them, continuing its piercing trajectory toward the distant sky. The figure's utter disregard left the three young men and the woman stunned. Could it be that this person was merely passing through? However, 1,000 miles away, the passing figure suddenly paused, as if sensing something. With furrowed brows, he halted his flight, his gaze piercing through the skies to lock onto the young woman within the fleeing group. At the same time, the five individuals' eyes turned heavy as they noticed a spatial rift expanding 100 feet ahead. From within stepped a man clad in black robes, his every movement exuding menace. "Black Yuan Venerable!" one of the young men exclaimed in terror. The black-robed man was none other than the fourth elder of Xuanling Hall, a cultivator with strength verging on the 8th grade supreme. "Hand over the girl and you!" The black-robed man's voice was cold as he eyed the three young men and the woman. Without waiting for a reply, a tidal wave of suffocating spiritual energy erupted from his body. The space around the five was instantly sealed, trapping them like fish in a net. "Die!" As the black-robed man's final words fell, his boundless spiritual energy surged forth, forming a massive black wave nearly 10,000 feet tall. The wave swept toward the group with an annihilating force, capable of obliterating any 5th or 6th grade supreme cultivator, let alone 3 2nd or 3rd grade supremes, and a woman of merely 1st grade supreme strength. As the black wave roared forward, a shadow darted through its center. A ferocious hand reached directly for the young woman, the black-robed man intending to snatch her away before the wave engulfed them. The four young cultivators, however, were doomed to perish under the tidal force. "Damn it!" One of the young men roared furiously at the approaching black-robed man. Yet, faced with such overwhelming power, they were utterly helpless. With a chilling smile, the black-robed man appeared before the group, his hand reaching for the girl. But just as he was about to seize her, a figure pierced through the horizon with blinding speed, suddenly materializing between him and his target. The sudden appearance of a shadowy figure caused the man's expression to change. Without hesitation, he struck out with a palm infused with terrifying spiritual energy, aiming straight at the shadow. However, the shadow seemed entirely indifferent to the attack. With an equally casual movement, the figure raised a hand and met the incoming strike head-on. Boom! When the two palms collided, the originally calm expression on the black-robed man's face twisted dramatically. He felt an overwhelming force, far beyond anything he had anticipated, surge through his arm in an instant. Before he could react, the arm he had struck with exploded into a mist of blood, scattering across the sky. The black-robed man himself was blasted thousands of feet away, tumbling uncontrollably. The shocking scene left the four young women frozen in place. A formidable expert who had 1 foot in the early stage of 8th grade Supreme had been crippled with just a single exchange. Even more terrifying was the fact that the assailant had done so with nothing but a casual gesture. Thousands of feet away, the black-robed man clutched the stump of his arm, barely suppressing the searing pain. His face was pale with fear as he stared at the figure now standing before the 5 women. A young man in a black robe. "Who are you? How dare you interfere in the matters of Xuanling Hall? Are you courting death?" The black-robed man shouted angrily at the youth, his voice trembling with rage and panic. Standing protectively in front of the 4 women and the dazed girl, the black-robed youth turned his gaze slightly toward the distant man. His voice was calm, but carried an undeniable authority as it echoed through the air.